How did get Aang? What did y'all do to get Aang in the movie, man? Yeah, playing the ancient one or something like that. Aang was in the movie, man. That's awesome. How you guys, Marvel, you guys pulled it off. Last Airbender was in the movie. That wasn't the last Airbender.
Oh, hell no!
How you doing? If you like this video, thank you. If you're a new subscriber, if you're just joining my channel for the first time, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and if you're not subscribed already, I think you need to. I'll give you a moment. Take your time. Do it! Anyway, let's get into this review. We're going to talk about the storyline, the characters, the visuals, and the overall things that we need to know if we should see this movie or not. Because this movie is probably the best visual movie this year. Let's talk about the story. The story in Doctor Strange is about a man who is basically the best of the best when it comes to using them hands. I'm not talking about boxing, I'm talking about surgery, okay? So he's the best surgeon there is when it comes to using them hands and helping people. But the thing about it is, throughout the whole course of the movie, they talk about how arrogant and cocky he is. But it's not really being displayed. I hear them talking about it, I hear them saying it, but he's not, to me, when I watched the movie, I didn't really see him be smug or arrogant or anything of that nature. Little bits and pieces, like they shouldn't have thrown it out like that. They should have showed it through the course of the story. They're telling you he's arrogant. They're telling you he's obnoxious. You know, he really cared about getting back to his profession. We understand that. But doesn't any doctor? The story to Doctor Strange, at best, is lackluster. It is. Let's be honest. But what I can say without giving anything away, the story may be lackluster, but it pays off at the end. And I'm telling you that because if you're not paying attention to the story, the ending, when it gets to the end and how Doctor Strange does what he does, you will be lost. The story is, is it totally bad? No, I wouldn't say that. But it's nothing for me to go brag about. But that Doctor Strange story was tight. Nah, it's not that at all. Alright, let's move on to the characters. Now, in this movie, we have Benedict Cumberbatch, alright, playing Doctor Strange. Now, if you know his work, you better be down there on Baker Street, or Bleecker Street, you know, some kind of street, because in this movie and on the BBC show Sherlock, he's killing it, okay? Love that show. Go check it out. I'm waiting for the next season. But yes, he's a great actor. At first, I did not want him playing Doctor Strange at all. I take that back now. I really do. I didn't even know my man Aang from Avatar was up in here. Shut up, computer. How did get Aang? What did y'all do to get Aang in the movie, man? Yeah, playing the ancient one or something like that. Aang was in the movie, man. That's awesome how you guys, Marvel, you guys pulled it off. Last Airbender was in the movie. That wasn't the last Airbender? Could have fooled me. But anyway, I'm making reference to the last Airbender because there were a whole lot of that stuff going on in this movie. And the person that played the Ancient One, she was in the movie and did a great job as the Ancient One. I do believe that leads to another storyline somewhere down the line, you know, because of her character. And Doctor Strange, the way that things were going on with the characters and how he interacts with certain stuff leads me to the next point of this review, the visuals, the graphics, the special effects. If you're seeing this movie in either IMAX, 3D, or even more regular, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away. I can imagine the people that seen it, like Ray. Ray's seen it in 3D. I can imagine the orgasms he was having just watching this movie, okay? Because the visuals in this movie are by far the best visuals you've seen all year. I will say that. This got to win some kind of an award. Okay, and if you're an Avatar fan, The Last Airbender, they did you justice here, okay? You finally got your airbending movie with this one, alright? Overall, Doctor Strange, story-wise, it's its weakest point. the story to me is actually its weakest point. But even though with the weak story, it makes up with great acting, it makes up with great visuals, and it has a great and strong tie-in of the story at the end. It was like they was like, the story, the story sucks, but guess what? We're gonna save this part of the story. It has to be good. When it gets to that ending part, it has to be good, and that's exactly what they did. So if you're gonna watch Doctor Strange, just know, to me, the story wasn't all that great. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't the greatest of stories that you'll be blabbing about. But Doctor Strange, is it worthy enough for you to go see it in a movie theater? Yes. Yes, it is. On a scale of 1 to 5, where do I rate Doctor Strange? Give it about a 3.9. 3.9. Doctor Strange is 3.9. I wouldn't give it exactly a 4. I had to minus a point there. But it's a 3.9. It could be chalked a little lower, but 3.9 is pretty good for Doctor Strange. Alright, with that being said, my name is Leeboy. You've been listening and watching Lee's Final Word. If you don't know anything about Doctor Strange, you should go see this movie. It's a very good movie. Marvel has this thing of making characters who people normally don't mess with, and that seems to be the cutting thing now, that a lot of companies are doing, like DC and Marvel, where they're trying to push characters who are known but not known massively to people, and give them a great story, because you can only go one or two ways with it. You can either make a great successful story franchise character wise, or you can just fall flat on your face. But if you fall flat on your face, who really cares? Because the character wasn't really invested mainstream anyway. Doctor Strange, if it would have failed, it wouldn't have hurt Marvel's reputation. They'd been like, okay, it was a busted Doctor Strange movie, But characters like, Iron Man and Captain America, you can't have those fall on their faces, because those are the big guys. Crazy life.